Hi, I'm BC, and the sculpture you just saw was of my late daughter Elisabeth, and I'm going to today tell you how to maintain a bronze sculpture such as the one that you've just seen. I'm an amateur, I'm not a professional conservator, but I obtained this method from the sculptor, who is very reputable, and I am going to put a link to his work down below. The reason why we want to maintain bronze sculpture is we're trying to avoid it from oxidizing. In a bronze sculpture, the patina will eventually wear off and the metal will turn to green because the copper oxidizes to a green color. Many people out there may actually want that green color, and that is what they're seeking, but if you want to maintain the original patina, you're going to have to protect the surface of the bronze. And the basic way to do that is to wax it. And there's sort of two methods. One is a hot wax, one is a cold wax. In the hot wax, you take a blowtorch, you apply it to the surface of the metal, and then you apply the wax when the metal is very hot. In a cold wax, you just apply the wax to the metal at the temperature it's at. If you're doing it on a hot summer day, it's probably sufficiently warm for most purposes. What we're going to do today is the cold wax method. With regards to the materials you're going to need, the first set of materials you're going to need are the cleaning materials. And the important thing with cleaning is that you don't want to have any chemical reaction in the cleaning process with your metal. And to avoid that chemical reaction, you're going to want to use a non-ionic cleaner. And you have basically two options. The first option is Joy, which is a standard commercial consumer product that you can buy at your supermarket or a place like Walmart or Target. And the second option is to use a non-ionic solvent that's called Igepal. I'm going to put a link to that below. Igepal, I would only recommend it if you have something very delicate or if you're particularly concerned about a chemical reaction that you may have seen happen in your environment. To obtain Igepal, you can't obtain it as a consumer, you're going to have to obtain it as an institution. I worked through the cemetery to get Igepal. I was essentially an agent of the cemetery. And I also had to fill out a DEA waiver that I was not going to use it for human purposes. Once you obtain the Igepal, you can actually dilute it. I purchased 100 milliliters, which is approximately 3 ounces, for $40. That comes out to over $1,000 a gallon. So it's it's a fairly expensive clean, but you be the judge in your own circumstance if that's something that you need. I also, for my cleaning, use distilled water because I didn't want any chemical reactions from the water, even though that's unlikely, it is a possibility. And I used about 3 gallons of distilled water for about a 5-foot bronze memorial. After you do the cleaning, you're going to do the waxing. Based on my information from Toby Mendez and my own research, there's really only one option for the wax, and that is bowling alley wax. It's a commercial wax, and I'll put some information down below on it. And it applies very nicely, and it gives a very nice coat of wax, much better than I've experienced even with fine auto waxes and other types of waxes. With that information, let's go back up to the cemetery and we'll go through a few more tips on how to actually do the procedure. Okay, we're here at Congressional Cemetery. The sculpture's right behind me, and let's get started. We're going to start with the Joy. I'm just going to put in a little bit. That's probably more than enough. Get some water in here. All right, I'm just going to take a rag and soak it up and start washing down the sculpture. For the waxing, I'm just going to use an applicator like you would with wax a car. It's kind of just the same idea, a circular motion evenly across the sculpture. We're doing what's called a cold wax here, but if you do this in the summer, the sculpture can still be, you know, not as hot as whether you would blowtorch it, but still warmer to expand just a little bit to take the wax more easily. Alright, we see here in the toes, right over here, that actually looks like a place where the patina wasn't applied, and in here the patina was applied a little less completely, so we're getting that mild corrosion here. Final step, I'm just going to take this cloth and dry off the excess wax. I tell you, this sculpture was pretty thirsty because it's already quite dry. There's really not a lot of excess wax on this. I don't even think I'm going to do much. Just going to lightly brush over it, look for some spots, but I don't think there's really too much more to do. And we're done. Please post your comments down below if you have any tips on how to maintain sculptures that I might not have covered. I look forward to your feedback, and best of luck to you in your own projects trying to preserve outdoor bronze sculpture.